Not audible, madam.
నా మాధవ్ అమరా అంటరా
రాగలు.
హలో
రాగలు ప్రస్తుతానికి అందరిని మ్యూట్ చేసేయి. ఓన్లీ కోహోర్స్ అండ్ రిసోర్స్ పర్సన్ ఒక్కటే ఇవ్వు. సరే, ఓకే, నేను పిలిచేస్తున్నాను. మరి అయితే వీసీ గారిని పిలిచేనా? రిసోర్స్ పర్సన్ ఈజ్ రెడీ. నేను వీసీ గారికి ఫోన్ చేస్తాను అయితే. ఓకే. గుడ్ ఈవినింగ్ సార్.
గుడ్ ఈవినింగ్ అండి.
గుడ్ ఈవినింగ్ సార్.
రమణేశ్వర్ గారు గుడ్ ఈవినింగ్.
సార్ గుడ్ ఈవినింగ్ సార్. పెర్సిస్
పెర్సిస్ గారు గుడ్ ఈవినింగ్. హౌ ఆర్ యు?
సార్ గుడ్ సార్, థ్యాంక్ యూ సార్.
Mr. Thirumal Rao, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Yes, okay. Hina?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, you can start.
Okay, Thirumal Rao garu, ela unnaru?
Mandi. Thanks for giving me this opportunity to present.
Nice to know about you and all your achievements. Dr. Kamala was telling about you. It was excellent to have you here today. Thank you very much for joining and sharing your expertise with our faculty and students. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Very good evening to one and all. I welcome to the webinar Machine Learning, the Skills of Alexa. Honorable Vice Chancellor Professor, Registered Professor T. Ashok Sir, Senior Professor Suresh Verma Sir, Special Officer at MSN Campus Kakinada, Dr. M. Kamal Kumari Madam, University College of Engineering Principal, Dr. V. Persis Madam, University College of Science and Technology Principal, Dr. K. Ramaneshwari Madam, today's guest of honor, Mr. Tirumala Rao Ponna Sir, HODs Dr. P. Venkateshwar Rao Sir and the Swami Sir, and my dear friends. Good evening to you all. I'm Hina of 3rd BTech CSC from University College of Engineering. In this digital era, all signs point to digital assistants being the next revolution in computing. iPhones have Siri, Google has Assistant, Microsoft has Cortana, and Amazon has Alexa. And all of them can get you results with nothing but a voice command. Alexa has dominated the digital assistant space in the past few years, quickly becoming a household name. Alexa, named after the ancient library of Alexandria, is Amazon's all-powered voice assistant that runs in a cloud. It is designed to be always on and woken with a voice command. Alexa can perform verb searches, create calendar events, modify to-do lists and notes, order products, play music, read Twitter posts, recite email, and perform dozens of other tasks. When you speak to Alexa, it uses natural language learning and speech recognition to transmit your request to Amazon service, which is where the real work is done. Machine learning software processes the spoken request and send a response back to Alexa, all in a matter of seconds. Amazon Alexa has been available to the general public since 2015. Amazon recently made Alexa's API available to developers, allowing for integration in non-Amazon devices. Alexa's always-on microphone can be privacy concerned, and rightfully so. The truth is much simpler. However, Alexa isn't transmitting any audio until it hears its wake word, and everything sent to Amazon can be viewed in the Alexa app. In September 2019, Amazon revealed more privacy-focused changes that can make worried users feel safer. And in 2020, it added additional privacy features to protect users. Amazon Alexa is a prime example of machine learning in action and is one of the most successful applications of consumer-based use of the new advances in artificial intelligence. Systems like Alexa are on early sign of a massive shift in how we interact with machines. With this short introduction, I now request the convener of this program, Dr. Kamala Kumari Madam, to take over. Thank you.
Hina, thank you. That was a good start. Good evening to Honorable Vice Chancellor Sir, Professor Mokka Jagannath Rao Garu, Registrar Professor T. Ashok Sir, Professor P. Suresh Verma Sir, Senior Faculty, Senior Professor in the CSC Department, Principal UC College, Dr. V. Persis Madam, Principal Dr. K. Ramaneshwari, Principal of University College of Science and Technology, today's facilitator, Mr. Tiruvunna, and Dr. P. Venkateshwar Rao Sir, HOD of CSC Department, and MSN Campus HOD, Mr. Swami, IC Dean Student Affairs, Dr. Uday Bhaskar Garu, faculty members of UCE and MSN Campus, University PRO, Mr. Anand at AKNU, and PRO at MSN Campus, Mr. Manoj, and my dear students, a very good evening to you all, and welcome to this webinar on the Alexa skills, a machine learning concept. And this program is organized under the Tech Vibes, an activity club of Computer Science Department at MSN Campus, Kakinada. Tech Vibes has been incepted in the month of March 6th during the orientation program. And I'm glad to share that this is the first program under the Tech Vibes, and I wish this academic stream continues under Tech Vibes. The idea of the academic activity clubs, their implementation, their activities are the result of the thought process of the Honorable Vice Chancellor, who is well known for his academics and is also a great researcher. We, the faculty members from MSN campus and University College of Engineering, thank you, sir, for your valuable guidance and support in conducting these kind of purely academic activities. Today, we choose this topic, machine learning, as this word has become familiar to either a techie or a non-technical person, as we ourselves are being part of this particular technology by acting as sources of the input and also as the users of it. Today, it has become a challenge to answer the question whether the machines depend on us or we depend on the machines. Whatever is the answer, the comfort zone or the benefits we are becoming, and we are moving into the more comfort zones day by day. Shortly, you will see one such example of machine learning, Alexa, which has made our tasks at ease and play a vital role in assisting us wherever we go. I now request our Honorable Vice Chancellor to address this session. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kamalakumari. And I'm very happy to be part of this webinar entitled Learning the Skills, Machine Learning and the Skills of Alexa, being organized by the Tech Vibes Department of MCA, MSN Campus, Kakinada. I'm very happy to see Sri Thirumal Rao Garu from USA, who will be the key resource person who will be speaking today on this particular topic. I'm very happy to see the faculty from the Department of Computer Science of Nanaya campus as well as MSN campus, and the principal of the College of Engineering, Dr. Persis, and the senior professor, Professor Verma, and principal College of Science, Dr. Ramaneshwari, and other faculty, Dr. Venkateswar Rao and Dr. Swami and others. I'm very happy to be part of this webinar. When you talk about this machine learning and artificial intelligence, and whenever we talk about the computer science and computer applications, so it is this domain is entering into every walks of life, and it is whether it's a science, or individual applications, or applications in engineering, or applications at personal level, or whatever it may be in healthcare, etc. When you talk about machine learning and artificial intelligence, so we'll be making machines understand our commands. Alexa is one such application developed by Amazon, where we have seen sometimes in various videos and all, where we'll be questioning this gadget, or it will be instantaneously answering. It will give the answer to our question. And also, I'm happy to note and amazed to note, in fact, that it will be understanding many languages depending upon the requirement, whether it is Japanese or English or French or German, or even maybe Hindi or other languages as well. So it is an application, as maybe an application of the artificial intelligence. So we call it the artificial intelligence. So on par with the human intelligence, artificial intelligence will be working for us. So it cannot replace human intelligence, but it will substantiate the human intelligence. Definitely, it will make our lives much easier. Maybe we should be careful when you're talking about the applications of such artificial intelligence, which should not lead to a kind of unwanted applications as well. So when you talk about these Alexa and its applications, we have a lot of applications as we have indicated in IoT applications. When a person is away from home, he can give instruction to this gadget so that whatever is required to do at home, it will be doing for us. Similarly, even if you are far off places, it will make somebody, it will alert somebody to take, especially a person who is sick, who is old, maybe he has to take a medicine at a given time. It will remind the person to take the medicine. If the person is not responding, it will be able to call the police or the doctor. So in this way, it has a lot of applications. Similarly, it will be operating all the gadgets of the home. And so it will be operating an intelligent refrigerator or intelligent kitchen or all these appliances, refrigerator, etc. So in this way, Alexa is a household assistant for all of us. Behind this, what is happening technically, how the machine learning is applied for developing such gadgets, so need to be understood. And that's what this technical person today will be answering and delivering a lecture for the benefit of youngsters. So the youngsters should be able to understand the concept. The main emphasis of this concept is to explore the other possible applications. As a scientist, I used to think in a similar lines. When I'm Googling, I'm using Google for various documents of my interest. Suppose I'm interested in X area, I'll be searching in the Google and download all PDFs, and I will just put them in a folder. Whenever I have time, I will go through. So I used to say the search should be intelligent. I used to think like that. The Google should have that intelligence of searching, because I am continuously searching for some topic. Whenever the computer is on, the Google should be automatically searching for the documents for which I am interested in based on the keywords. So it should search all the PDFs and all the documents, and it should be updating my database automatically. So without my interference. So that kind of thinking I used to do. Maybe that is also comes under this artificial intelligence, where I can program my Alexa so that it will be searching all my documents time to time and say, okay, Professor Rao, you have 3 more documents today. These are saved in so and so file. So in this way, this work is made easy. Like a scholar will be working for me. Instead, Alexa will be working for me in my scientific pursuits. So in this way, as it is indicated, sky is the limit. So you need to apply, you need to think which are the areas we will be applying such artificial intelligence. That's what we need to understand. The youngsters should be also thinking about this, where we can use the artificial intelligence and machine learning and data science, data analytics, etc. These are all interrelated subjects. So day by day, computers are progressing at a very faster rate. All the professionals and students and people working in this area need to update themselves so that they will be doing great work, not only for themselves, but also for the society at large. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. If we can catch from your speech, I could guess like there are 2 or 3 research topics has emanated from your speech. Yeah, thank you very much, sir. Yeah, we should be like your ideas we should take up and go for implementation.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Before we go for today's facilitator, I now request Pallavi from 3rd BTech IT to introduce our today's guest, and I also see our registrar has joined. Welcome, sir. Professor T. Ashok, sir, welcome you. Pallavi, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, you please introduce our today's guest.
Thank you, ma'am. Good evening, everyone. Today, I take the privilege to introduce Mr. Tirumala Rao Unna, sir, who is having nearly 24 years of experience in software development and management. Starting from his educational qualifications, He completed his bachelor's in computer science and engineering in 1996 at VR Siddhartha Engineering College and done his Master of Business Administration at Strayer University, New Jersey in 2017. He also completed the Entrepreneurship Acceleration Program at University of Pennsylvania this year. Mr. Thiru sir has certifications of different programs like SAFE Program Consultant, Scrum Alliance Certified Product Offer, and VLSS Black Belt. He is well trained in domains like AWS SOAPs, SecOps, DevOps, OpenStack, SDN, NFV, and cloud computing. Coming to his profound work experience in a summary style, he has 3 years of scaled agile business agility digital transformation experience, 20 plus years of software industry experience in designing and developing mobile telecommunication solutions, enterprise backend solutions planning, and API strategy. He is having the experience in CI, CD, DevSecOps tools, and agile methodologies. His experience also includes forensic analysis experience on Android and iOS operating system as Android technical lead. Mr. Thiru sir has solid understanding on RTOS, microprocessor architecture, 5G, LTE, CDMA, USB, GPS technologies. He is specialized in architecting UI platforms, UX designer tools, communication frameworks for developing mobile platforms. He contributed his fine shares in the development of the TouchWiz OS for Samsung devices development and led the GUI platform technologies innovative. He worked for the project insights of SCM dashboard platform at IBM Insight, Cognos, Oracle, Office 365, SPSS, Tableau. He also looked he has also took lead to a couple of big data activities based on the Apache Hadoop, HiveQL, HBase, Piglet. He is having the prior programming skills and experience, and he is experienced in C, C++, Java, and Python. He is having the solid understanding of text mining techniques and tools. Apart from the above, he has the proven ability to direct, mentor, and lead by example and provide technical leadership. Mr. Thiru sir has involved in all the above mentioned in different roles as business agile leader, solutions architect, tech lead, senior developer at different companies like GE Medical Systems, at Milwaukee, US Government of Hood at Washington, DC, Samsung Mobile at New Jersey, and Verizon Wireless Company. At present, Mr. Thiru sir is acting as the principal engineer at Verizon Wireless, Branchburg, New Jersey. It is an honor to have him for this webinar session on machine learning about the skills of Electa. Thank you, sir, for accepting our invitation. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Pallavi. I never had the privilege of listening to my experience myself, through you. Thank you so much.
Thiru, just before you go, I'll just take a few seconds. I just want to share to all the participants and to Vice Chancellor, sir, small surprise to you. So these are Thiru kits. I think if you can see, madam, can you see my screen?
Yes, madam.
Yeah. These are the junior UNAs, Gagan, and last year, recently in the month of April, they have entered into the World Championship, which is like VX IQ World Championship. This is a robotics competition award. And they have, before this, they have won 6 regional and state championships awards in USA. And this is for the junior award before last year in 2019, Gagan won this. I just want to let you know that how Thiru motivates his kids. Just want to share with you all. Thiru, session is yours.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kamala. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Professor, Vice Chancellor Jagannath Garu, and Dr. Kamala, as well as, I think I'm forgetting, one second, forgetting the name. Okay, Hina, sorry. Yeah, thanks for all the setting the foundation for today's topic. And giving a lot of ideas, Vice Chancellor, for the, you are like great thought leader, and while listening to you, I was getting a lot more ideas about the use cases, about where we can use Alexa. Without a further ado, let me share my screen. All right, is everyone able to see my screen?
Yes, go ahead.
Right. Okay, so Pallavi has given all the introduction about my experience in the industry. So if you wanted to connect with me, please do connect with me on LinkedIn. That's my link. Okay. All right. So today's topic, machine learning is a use case for Alexa. And today's topic is make your own Alexa skill. Alexa skills, like you got the very strong introduction from the panel, right? So we'll deep dive into like how to create your own Alexa skill today. Okay. All right. Okay. So today's topics are, we will learn about Amazon Echo, the device itself, and also we're going to learn about the Amazon Alexa, the key enabler for this device. And how do they work? Like, how does Echo work? How does Alexa work? Okay. And then we'll jump into Alexa skill kit itself, like, how to develop one. All right. So what is Amazon Alexa? Alexa is an internet connected smart speaker. It's a smart device which is powered by a software, right? That makes it smart. So the Alexa service is what makes it smart. And it is launched in 2014 in US and 2016 in UK and Germany. The newer devices have the display as well, okay? Similar to a Nest, if you're familiar with it. Okay, so how does Echo can be set up to work with you, right? So we just covered saying that, okay, Echo is a smart device and it can receive commands from us, right, at a household, and then it responds to the commands of the person, right? So we need to set it up before we can use it, right? So if you purchase this Echo, we would have to set it up with your smartphone device, where you can install your Alexa device and then Alexa app, and then configure the Echo. Once you set it up, then it is ready for you to serve you. Okay, so it is a voice assistant, like Vice Chancellor shared. It is an assistant. It is, helps enable you to be more knowledgeable, interact in more real time, right? You can request information in more real time and then respond, right? If you have a assistant for yourself, how would you do it? It's exactly the job that it is doing. Okay, so this is how you set it up, and once you set it up, you can use it, right? So what can it do? Sorry. So what can it do? So when a person speaks to this device, and then the device reaches out to the Amazon Alexa and then responds back, right? So what would we do in a Google search if you wanted to know about something, right? Some topic. So we have to open our smartphone and then search on a Google browser, or like whatever the browser that we have. Similarly, like if you have to do it more instantly, right, in-house without having to touch anything, right, or getting on the computer, you can ask Alexa, can you tell me what is the current state of COVID numbers, mortality numbers? Can you tell us how the world is doing about it? So you can just ask about it, right? So just you ask Alexa, and then you give the utterance being the actual question that you wanted to ask the Alexa. That's the search keyword. I mean, if you're going for a browser in a Google search, you're searching for the word what you wanted to know, right? That is called utterance in the Alexa world, right? So the utterance is the topic that you are searching. You tell Alexa by calling the Alexa itself, right? And then give the utterance, and then it goes to Alexa service, and then it gets back the response. Okay, so And once it gets the response back from the Alexa service, it converts into the voice back, and then it plays it back in the smart speaker. Okay. So, so you can ask anytime, right? So, and also you can ask the time too, right? So Alexa, what time it is? So then it responds back saying time is whatever the time is, right? So it has the skill called time, and then that responds to echo, and then echo responds back to you, right, in a speaker. Okay, so same for like, I mean, what is the airspeed of a unladen, right? So when there is no load on the flight, what is the actually velocity of that, right? So you can ask that, and then it has the Wikipedia service, and then Wikipedia service responds to echo, and the echo plays the text back to you, right? So you can ask pretty much anything to Alexa. Okay, so which means that it can play audio, and it can play music, video, right? Even just a plain text. Okay, so now it becomes even more smarter, right? So what else can it do, right? I mean, we talked about Alexa being more of a voice assistant, right? More of a real person, right? So it's basically bringing the artificialness to it, right? So basically we wanted to have a human-like experience. So in order to do that, right, I mean, what else can it do, right? If you think about it. So, I mean, sometimes we kind of live in a big mansion, right? And then we wanted to make sure that the house is secure or not, like lights are on during the night or not, like the outside lights or whatever the lights that you wanted to make sure they are on or not, right? Instead of going all the way to the control panel to really make sure these lights are on or not, you can ask Alexa to control the panel with the comfort of your home itself, either your smartphone, or you can directly talk to the Echo itself and say, Alexa, put the lights on, right? Whatever the command is, right, that enables the particular function of what you wanted to achieve, right? So that you can do by saying, Alexa, lights on, right? So this light itself, right, it is connected to Echo, that it can communicate with the light and then switch it on. Okay, so this capability exists right now. That is called controlling the IoT devices, right? Internet IoT is like internet enabled devices. Okay, that can be connected to your Alexa, and then you can operate all of these technology. All right. Okay, so how Amazon Echo, how does it work? So let's look at what components that it has. So if you look at the device itself, it is a regular a speaker which has the woofer as well as some control buttons, like to control the volume up and down, and the mute buttons. Right, when you have to really ask a question, there is basically a there is a mute button, like the mute button on a phone. Yeah, there is a mute button as well. But if you have to ask a question, just ask the question. If it is unmuted, right, unmuted, then you can really ask directly, Alexa, switch on the lights, right? Then it can respond to it. Okay, so for that, yeah, you have a regular speaker, right, and the microphone with the mute button, and also it has the light ring, which basically gives the visual feedback when it is like really responding to you or not, right? So when you speak to a speaker, you don't have the visual feedback about whether it is doing something or not, right? So when you say Alexa, it lights up. This is the visual feedback for us, right? Which is indicating, saying that, okay, this is woke up when I called him, right? So that ring is the visual indicator, and it has the 7 microphone array. which means it's not just one single microphone. It has that 7 microphone array, which kind of listens to you in a various, it's more powerful in the way that, any angle that you speak to, it can respond to it, right? So, and also it has the echo shell and then power buttons, power port, right, where you can connect it to the power to power it up. Okay, so there is audio output as well. If you wanted to connect it to an external system, audio system, you should be able to connect it as well. Okay. All right. So basically, echo listens for a wake word, right? The way to wake an echo is by calling it as a wake word. So what are some of the wake words? Is it just Alexa? No, it can be echo or a computer, right? So basically you can say echo and then ask the question, right? Then the echo will respond to you, right? By waking up, the light ring will lit up. And then when it is searching for it, and it has the ring is animated, so that you will get a visual feedback that it is searching for it, and then when it is response back, then you have the audio feedback. So you have 3 kind of wake words: Alexa, echo, a computer. So with this, you can ask echo a question, and when you ask the question, it reaches out to Alexa service, which is on the server side on the cloud, right? Amazon cloud, and then it responds back with the audio file, and the audio file gets played to you. Okay. Okay, so when we ask Alexa, what time is it, right? What is happening is actually it is, the echo is getting that question, the text, the audio file is received by the echo, which is the 7 microphone array that gets the audio, what you said, right? And then that audio gets passed to whatever the audio file gets passed to the Alexa service. So that the Alexa service is actually basically whatever the audio file that we asked, it goes as an audio file to the Alexa service itself. Okay. So I think there's an annotation going on this presentation. I don't know who is doing it. Could we have that disabled, please? Thank you. Okay, so Echo gets the wake word. It wakes up by the wake word. In this case, it is Alexa, right? Alexa is the wake word. And then once it gets the wake word, it wakes up, right? If the microphone is not muted, it wakes up, okay? And then you say the utterance. What time is it? Is the actual utterance. Utterance is a keyword that you are really wanting to search, right? So this is the information that you really wanted to know, right? So what is the information in this case is what time is it? Okay, what time is it? Okay, in your local area. So that would be the utterance, and then that utterance is an audio file that Echo receives. The audio file goes to Amazon Alexa, which is hosted on AWS. Okay, so the Alexa service actually gets this audio file and converts into text, and then basically it parses it and sends it to the actual skill, and then the skill will respond back, and then the reverse process continues. Okay. All right. So again, okay. So then when you say the audio file, right? The what time is it, and then the Echo responds back, and this is the visual of that. Okay. Okay, how does Alexa work? How does it work? Okay, so the Alexa has the different components like Lex, Poly, and various components, right? So what does Lex do? Lex is an automatic speech recognition software, right? I mean, because when you're giving an audio file, there should be some component in the Alexa service on the Amazon cloud should be able to convert your audio waveform into a text, right? to a text. So that service, whatever the service which is responsible for converting the audio waveform, what you utterance is, right? Whatever you said, that audio file, the Lex is the one actually takes the audio file and converts into a text. Okay. So the Lex service is like also refers to as automatic speech recognition, ASR. All right. So when the Lex converts the waveform into text transcript, which is a speech to text, right? That output from the Lex is like is going to be a text, right? And the text is actually goes to NLU. NLU is a natural language processor, right? Which is the natural language understanding, which is also referred to as NLU. So that based on the conversion, it understands the user intent. Okay, what exactly user intent is, right? So that user intent will be understood by the NLU, right? There should be some knowledge, right? There's some artificial intelligent component which needs to understand this text and then make sense of it, of the user intent, right? And then basically understands the user intent and it sends it to the Lambda, right? So the Lambda is a serverless component in AWS, right? Serverless being like there is no physical server running. It is a lightweight component on the AWS, which basically really responds to the NLU, right? So in this case, Alexa skill is sitting in the Lambda, and the Lambda is going to invoke the skill invocation within the skill itself and then response back. Okay, so just to reiterate, Lex analyzes the waveform for the speech that the Lex component, whatever the echo is sending to the Alexa service, right? The first component Alexa service is the Lex, right? That converts the waveform into text, right? And then Lex applies the NLP models to understand the user intent. Okay, so the Lex is interfacing with the NLU to understand the user intent, right? What exactly the utterance is, what exactly the actual user intent is. So that's what the NLU is going to do. And then once it is user intent is understood or parsed, it is going to invoke the appropriate skill, Alexa skill skill component itself, right? So the skill component has a set of skills, and based on the user intent, it is gonna invoke that specific skill, okay? And that is very lightweight Lambda function. Okay, so how does the Lambda work, right? In this case, okay, Lambda is what we talked about. Lambda being it hosts the Alexa skills. Lambda receives the user intent in a JSON data format. If you're familiar with the various data formats, we have CSV, we have XML, right? And we have a JSON. So JSON being the very lightweight data protocol, right? Compared to XML or a text-based, excuse me. So it is a structured format, right? So Lambda, actually AWS uses a JSON format in the Lambda service to receive this information or the user intent to compute the response, okay? So the interface to the Alexa skills is a JSON format, right? Anything that NLU is going to interface with the skill database is in the JSON format. Okay, so the NLU is going to give the JSON request to skill in the Lambda. Okay, Lambda computes the appropriate response out of it, like parsing the JSON data and it invoking the appropriate skill and then response back. Okay, so let's look at the more comprehensive view. So Alexa actually invokes the very specific skill, right? We talked about being the user intent. If user intent is well parsed and well understood by the lex, right? And then basically that is passed by the NLU. NLU is going to pick what exactly the user intent is. Based on that, it invokes the exact skill in the skill database. Okay, so the interaction Lambda does is basically once it understood the actual skill, where when it interfaced with the actual skill, it gets the response, right? The response would be in the text format. Okay, so the text format is then converted it into a waveform, because all the speaker is just a speaker, right? Its speaker has a microphone, right? That's all it is, the echo, right? What makes it smart is the Alexa, the component of it, which is sitting on the server side. Okay, the server side of it. The smartness of echo comes from the Alexa, which is sitting on the server side. So the server itself would have to send the audio file back to the speaker, because you don't have a lot of smarts going on in the echo speaker itself. So the server has to take a lot of heavy lifting of this, right? So what the heavy lifting it is doing, it is basically speaker is sending the audio file to the server, and server is like Alexa, right? And then the server's response back to the echo in an audio file itself, right? So speaker sends audio file to the server, server's response back audio file back to the echo speaker, so that like echo can just play it, right? So that's what it is. So Lambda receives the user intent in a JSON data. Lambda computes the appropriate response. Lambda outputs the response as a text. And the poly is another component that we haven't talked about it yet, right? Actually, it converts the text to speech. Okay, text to speech is like if you give a text and then it converts it into the speech. Okay, so the waveform is sent back to the echo device. So that the poly is another component that you can specifically invoke in your APIs or in your programming, right? So you can invoke to do the text to speech beyond Alexa itself. Okay, that's another service that Amazon provides in AWS. All right. Okay, so so that basically all about Echo, right? So and Alexa. But now let's jump into making our own Alexa skills. Now that we learned how the Echo and Alexa work, right? Now it's time for us to like really know how to create our own Alexa skill. Okay. All right, let's dive in. So if you have an Amazon account, right? If you kind of have an Amazon account, you can go to developer.amazon.com and then sign up for a basically a AWS. I mean, basically sign up for enable your Alexa service on this account. Okay. So developer.amazon.com is a general developer account, which gives you access to all the Amazon services. So if you have the Amazon account, right, you can enable this directly. But this Amazon AWS account is not same as this, right? So developer account would have to be associated with your Amazon account. Okay. All right. So so once you log in, right? Once you log into the developer.amazon.com, then you would see the ASK, right? Alexa Skills Kit, right? So that's where you would be spending a lot of your time relating to Alexa. Okay. So let's learn a little bit more about the structure of Alexa, like how does a skill work, right? So when we say the intent, right? We briefly touched about the intent. So intent is actually the NLU understands the actual utterance that you said, right? NLU gets the actual utterance, which is the keywords that you asked Alexa to like find, right? So that information is like the taken by the NLU, and then NLU identifies the user intent, right? So the user intent is like what user really wants to find, right? So that is referred to as an intent in Amazon Alexa. So just remember that intent is actually what exactly the user really wanted to find. Okay, so define the intent is these are the requests your skill can handle, right? Like order pizza, play music, get tight times, whatever it is, right? That is the actual intent. Okay, so and then basically define the words that will invoke, right? Anyone who is not speaking, please mute yourself. I appreciate it. Thank you. There was some background noise. Thank you. Okay, define the words that will invoke your skills. So order a pizza, right? I mean, order a large pepperoni pizza, right? Maps to order pizza intent. Okay, so actually this order a large pepperoni pizza is actually referred to the order pizza intent. So there is a generic intent. The generic intent you developed something called order pizza, right? So within that, there are some parameters, right? If you remember, if you recall the programming structure of a function, right? Any language has a function name, right? You can refer to a function as a your intent, right? Your function, and then within which you have a slots, right? Slots are the variables. So variables are nothing but a parameters for a function, right? So the parameters actually pass additional information of what you're going to do with that function. Okay, so if you call that function, you have to pass that parameters if it is expecting it, right? Otherwise, it may not know, it may not be able to be called, right? So when you're ordering pizza, you're ordering a specific type of pizza. Excuse me. Ordering a large pepperoni pizza. Okay, so large is a one specification, that is a one parameter, right? And then you are also saying a specificity of what pizza you wanted to order, right? So that those are the things will become as a parameters, right? So the parameters of a function in Alexa terminology, it's called as a slots, right? You just have to remember this word slots. Okay. So the slots in this intent was the size of the pizza and the type of the pizza, right? So those are the two parameters. Okay. Okay. So and then define a unique invocation name, right? So when you're invoking a skill, right, when you're invoking a function, right, you need to know, you have to call it by a name, right? So in this case, the invocation name, you have to give a name to the skill as well. So what is this skill that you are developing? It's called Bob's Pizza. Okay, what is Bob's Pizza? Bob's Pizza is, it's a restaurant, right? It's a restaurant. Its restaurants basically makes pizzas, and then that's the skill that you developed, right? Why did you develop a skill for specifically for the Bob's Pizza? Because every pizza is, I mean, every restaurant is different, right? Every restaurant is different and their menu is different, right? So if you are saying order a biryani, right, in a generic sense, right, Alexa would list out all the restaurants out there, right, in its knowledge database, but it wouldn't know which pizza that which biryani you wanted to order, right? So I mean, like if you wanted to go to Paradise, right? As if you wanted to like really specify Paradise biryani, and then Paradise biryani, you don't like very specific items, like I don't want bones in the chicken, right? So I want everything soft pieces, right? Right? Or like if you wanted to add specific vegetables, right? If you wanted to customize that, right? All of that, right? Alexa, as by default, wouldn't know, right? So that knowledge would also have to be trained to the Alexa. So that the way you train the machine learning skills is through the skills skills itself, right? The skill is a knowledge that you are feeding it to Alexa, the machine learning service, that will make it more knowledgeable in responding to that request, right? So you're constantly training your machine learning model, which is the Alexa, if you refer to as, right? You're constantly enhancing this model for it to respond better and serve you better, right? So in this particular example, what we are calling it as a Bob's Pizza, right? Why specifically Bob's Pizza is Bob's Pizza sells this specific pizza called pepperoni pizza, right? And then you are looking for various sizes, right? Bob's Pizza gets sold in small, medium, large pizzas, right? That specification also you can give it when you are calling Bob's Pizza intent invocation by calling the invocation name. Okay, so the invocation name for the skill is the name that you gave for that skill, right? So when you are developing a skill for this particular restaurant, right, you have to give the name to it, right? So that's what the Bob's Pizza is. So if you are being like an entrepreneur, right, if you wanted to help a restaurant build a skill, Alexa skill for them, right? So what would you name it as, right? So Paradise Biryani, right? And then Paradise Biryani would have all the details, that skill would have all the details about what the Paradise Biryani is offers and what customizations it allows, right, from their menu, okay? So defining the interaction model for your skill, right? So this is the interaction model. What is the interaction model, right? Interaction model is like what kind of what kind of intent that it would support, what kind of intents that it would support, which means intent being what kind of things would it support, right? So when you're developing a skill for Paradise Biryani, imagine it would support salad versus like raita versus like desserts and some badam milk, right? And then Pepsi, Coke, and all of that, right? So all of these are like basically it could become each individual intent. And intent could be a combination of it too. Like, I mean, when I'm ordering a biryani, I might order like basically a Pepsi or a Coke too along with it, right? So that knowledge would have to be trained by you to that skill, right? So that whole process of designing your skill is building your interaction model, right? So think about interaction model being a skill that you are training for a specific purpose. In this specific case is like Paradise Biryani, you're developing a skill for them because you have been hired as a developer or you have a contract with them as an entrepreneur, right? You have a contract with them to develop this service for them so that their experience can be enhanced, right? So it is monetization, right? Skills has like a similar to website development. It has a lot of monetization opportunities for you, right? Since I mean the vice chancellor shared various things that how you can use the Alexa service. Alexa service. Alexa service is primarily a enabler. I'm sorry. So it is a personal assistant, right? So personal assistance knowledge would have to be constantly enhanced, right? So if you're as an entrepreneur, if you're helping a restaurant, right? So basically you would have to think about how that interaction of customer with that restaurant is going to be. All of that interaction, you're going to like basically put it into Alexa service, similar to the website development that you do, right? What are the things a website, I mean, Paradise Biryani website would have? Like it would have location information and about information and a menu primarily, right? And the contact information, all of that, right? So, and the menu is specifically giving information about all the options that all the menu items that it supports, and then options at a higher level, right? But so if you wanted to order a piece biryani, you have to call the restaurant and give the specification. Similarly, you would have to call the Alexa service, give the same specification so that it places the order for you. Yeah, you don't have to make a call, right? You get that, right? So I mean, that's the way to think about, right, when you're like really thinking about enhancing to how I can use the skills to like monetization purposes, or from some of the research ideas Vice Chancellor and Dr. Kamala shared, right? So all of those can be really achieved by defining this proper interaction model. Okay. All right. So Alex, let's look at the structure of the whole interaction model itself, right? So remember, we talked about the intent. Basically, intent would be the user's intent, right? The user's intent is like to order a pizza, right? Order a pizza, right? So order becomes the intent. Okay, order becomes an intent. It's one of the intents in the skill, and orders a large pepperoni pizza, right? All large pepperoni pizza, right? So we talked about being large being the size of it, and the pepperoni being the type of the pizza, right? Those becomes a parameters to that intent, right? So like a function, right? Remember that association of I made with the function and function parameters, right? So this becomes a function name, and then it has the parameters as the slots, right? And so overall, right, from a Bob's Pizza, right? I mean, an invocation name, right? So you just give like for that whole function, you need to give a name. So that's the actual function name, right? That you call to invoke the skill, right? So this is all called utterance. So the structure of the entire thing is called utterance. Okay. Okay, so let's learn a little bit more about the Lambda, right? We talked about the Lambda being an enabler for the skill, right? Part of your Alexa service, right, on the AWS, right? So how does Lambda really work, right? So the custom Alexa skills are written as a AWS Lambda functions. So if you're familiar with the Lambda, then you might be able to associate it, right? In a general client server technology, right? A Lambda is nothing but a server, right? Remember, like the client and server interaction that we have in a client server model, right? So that the client being the browser, right? And the server being actually the where web server runs on the server side of it, right? In a client server model. Right, but whereas where does Lambda fit in this one, in this kind of thing, right? So if you see Amazon as a cloud, it has the client server model too, but it is in a cloud environment, right? So in a Lambda, in an AWS, right, there are various options, right? You can deploy individual servers like being your own servers, but if you don't want to like have that heavy weight of cost implementation of you hosting your own server, right? You can do Lambda functions, right? So what's the cost savings that I would have in hosting a Lambda versus a server is like a server has your own resource, right? It is your own resource. You have to pay for it, right? The subscription of a server in an AWS. But whereas in Lambda, right, whether you use the server or not, like you have to pay for the service, right? Whether there is traffic coming into the service or not, you have to pay for the server. Whereas Lambda, right, you can host a Lambda function without any cost for you, right? There is no cost for you if you wanted to host a Lambda function. As a young entrepreneur, right? I mean, this would be something that you would want to really consider, right? So the Lambda doesn't have any cost to create, because in order to host a Lambda function, you don't have any cost, but only the cost comes in when when you have a load coming in, right? So a lot of requests are coming through the server. Based on the usage, you pay for it, right? It is kind of a pay-per usage model, right? So that saves a lot of money of upfront cost, right? You don't have a capital expenditure upfront to host a server. So, Lambda is such a technology which is called as serverless. So we don't have to host a server for it. Okay. So why are we using Lambda in this Alexa? Is Alexa in built uses a Lambda to host the skill functions, right? So skills are written in a Lambda functions by default. I mean, it doesn't have any other option than hosting a Lambda functions. So Lambda actually custom skills are hosted in Lambda functions, and Lambda is a serverless environment for running functions. And the functions can be written in almost any language, right? The functions, usually some technologies, we are very specific about what we are going to really implement in, like what language we are going to implement in. But whereas Lambda, you have a wide variety of options of implementing that functionality on the server side, which is Node.js, Python, Ruby, Java, Go, and .NET, right? Popular languages, but this is not the complete list, right? So you have an elaborate list of language options that are available for you to use, okay? That's about Lambda, right? I mean, at a general sense. Okay, so now we are going to come into like more into like the usage implementation part of it, right? So we covered Echo and we covered like Alexa service in a little more in detail, right? So for understanding sense, but how do we do the skills, right? I mean, how do we enable my own skill? That might be the question that comes to your mind, right? So there are two ways of doing developing skills, right? So the first way, the easiest way for you to get jump start into being a developer is to use the blueprint, right? If you go to blueprint.amazon.com, blueprints.amazon.com, right? So that one will take you to this website, right? So what is blueprints? How is it any related to Alexa, right? So blueprints are templates for Alexa. These are skill templates, right? Default templates. If you know, for like a C language or any other language, there are templates, right? C++ has the templates, right? The STL templates. So what are the templates? Templates are like a generic structure you defined for your class or anything, right? So that the generic factory of making your own classes is in a C++ language, it is a template, right? Similarly, like the Word document has a template, right? If you're creating a Word document, right, you can create a template of it. If you are keep doing the same thing, you might want to create a template and then basically optimize some of those document structure creation in a template. Right, for an Alexa, it's called a blueprint, right? A blueprint comes with like a predefined set of skills that you can choose to customize your own skill, right? Any skill that you are out there, right, that you listed on the blueprints, go and select it. And if it matches with what you're doing, right, so go pick that skill. And then you can make your own out of that, right? You can customize it and make your own. Okay, so that's the blueprint. So for you to get started immediately and make a really good value out of the Alexa skill development is go to the blueprints and get comfortable, right? Get comfortable in building your own skill. So there is always a very customized way of doing it, right? If you wanted to have basically full control over the full development, then you have to go to the developer console of the Alexa to develop it, right? So we'll be talking about, and I'll walk you through both of them quickly at a high level, right? So blueprints is primarily a no code, right? No code templates, right? No code is a big revolution, right now, right? Nobody wants to write any more code, right? We don't want to be like some of you might be thinking coding is so complex, right? I don't want to do this. I don't want to be like spending all my life sitting at in front of the computer at an office, right? And then basically I have no life, right? So no code is a big revolution for that purpose to solve that particular problem, right? So what is no code? Is basically it's encapsulating all the complexity of developing a software into like a templatized way of developing it, right? So for Alexa service, there is a complex way of doing it where it's very very full control way of developing it, and then also templatized no code way of developing it, right? No code way of developing is called a blueprints, right? That is one you can get started with it. Okay. And also, like, I mean, just basically, let's go through this a little more about the structure of it. One slide that I put together to give you a little more information about the interaction of Alexa Echo device to the Alexa service, right? So in this one, right, the user sends a request to the Echo. Echo sends the waveform to the Alexa service, right? And then Alexa service has the automated speech recognition software, right? Lex, right? And Lex communicates with the NLU. NLU learns what is the user intent, and based on that, it's gonna invoke a specific Alexa ask, right? Skill, right? Ask is like a Alexa's skill database, right? The specific API in the ask would be called to basically get the response from that specific skill, right? This is the interaction of it. Okay, so basically this is one more visual for you, like the user asks the audio, right, waveform from the Echo, and then basically the speech recognition software on the Alexa service gets the intent out of that utterance, and then calls the Lambda functions, and the Lambda responds back, right? And then this basically this Alexa service converts that into the waveform or a visual, right? And then responds back to the user. Okay. All right. So let's look at the blueprints demo, and then we will jump into the developer console for you. Okay. All right. So let me jump into blueprints. Hold on. All right. So the blueprints, blueprints.amazon.com, right? To search blueprints.amazon.com and then click enter. So what you would see is immediately what you would see if you're signed in. Like, I remember that if you are signed into developer console, that it will pick up that account, right? So the same account, right? So you go to the developer.amazon.com first, register yourself as a developer. Then that it will remember. Okay, so once you log into the blueprints, what you would see is a set of featured blueprints, right? So there are like various school schedules, right? Like how many days till some event, like if you are waiting for your birthday and your dad or mom promised you a bench car, right, for your birthday, and then you can't wait for it, right? You can't wait for that birthday, so then you can set a countdown for it, right? So you can set a countdown for that special day for you, right? So you can use that one. And also task tracker, task tracker, right? Like Vice Chancellor shared, right? Like some of the things that he wants to keep track of the documents that that he needs to review for that day, right? So he wants that heavy lift of processing the documents by the Alexa, so that he's basically eliminating a particular assistant to be recruited for that particular purpose, and then he wants to automate that aspect of it, right? So I mean, getting started with that kind of a thing is like a task tracker, right? Right, so you can customize it further. And also like flashcards, like many of you are like students, right? So you like the flashcards thing, right? So you wanted to have a quick reference of all the topics that you have to prepare for the exam or a quiz, right? So for that, like you wanted to create a flashcards to generically be available for all your friends, right? Not just you are learning it, but you're also creating a knowledge database for your fellow students to help them out, right? We all wanted to help, right? So if you wanted to help, right, so you can create a flashcard of the topic, right? Compiler design, right? So which is like a nightmare comes to me when understanding the compiler design for me, right? So, but I am like really tough in that subject, right? I couldn't understand. So there are people who understand this complex subject way better than me, right? In that case, like that person can really create a flashcards to help understand like improve the understanding of the topic for others too, right? So if you wanted to help, you can do flashcards for various topics, right? And story quizzes, and there are various things like you just go here and look for something, right? Something that that connects with the idea that you have. If it doesn't have any of these templates, right? Any of these things that doesn't serve the purpose that you are really wanting to do, right? Then you have to really go to the developer console and build it yourself, right? So let's look at how many days thing, right? Just quickly, right? So how to set it up. So when you click on the how many days, it's a countdown skill, right? So the countdown skill, let's listen to it.
How many days until Hawaii vacation? Another day closer. Hawaii vacation is 66 days away. Better start getting ready.
Right. So I mean, this person has developed this how many days countdown skill just just for the vacation itself, Hawaii vacation. Right? He's so excited. He wants to like have a hard skill on his Echo that basically counts down on his vacation itself, right? So this one, if it serves the purpose that you are trying to do, like a countdown for your bench card, birthday gift bench card, right? So for your this thing, if you wanted to develop your own thing, right, you can start, you can use this one and make your own, right? I mean, it's very similar, right? It's just a countdown app. So for what would be the event? Birthday, right? Birthday countdown, right? Birthday countdown, if you wanted to do it, countdown. So at the date of the event, you give it, right? And then basically it would say whatever the 07. What is happening? Okay, 01, 20, 2022. Okay, something like that. So this is an annual event. If you wanted to make it as an annual event, just make it as that, and then add event. This is add event is like for multiple events. So once you added this specific event for one purpose, then you're good. Like if you have a multiple events that you need to track, like if you wanted to like have a countdown for your exams versus like some other events, like if you're like a mother's birthday versus your father's birthday versus like some anniversaries or your friend's anniversaries, so all of that can be tracked in one service itself, right? So if such a need is there, you can use this skill for that, right? Yeah. And then basically customize your greetings, right? I mean, basically when you get opening message and closing message of this service, right, you say these utterances, right? I mean, the Alexa would say these things, and you can also put a background image just to distinguish, right? So once you customize this skill, right, you can basically name it as your own, right? You can name it as your own and then create skill, right? Okay, all right. If it lets me, hello. Okay, birthday countdown. Okay, so that's my new skill, right? Birthday countdown. So I mean, it takes a couple of minutes to really make it your own skill. Once you made it, right? Once you made your own skill, this is yours, right? And nobody else has ownership of this skill other than you. So it's currently creating this, right? Once it's created, you can control the visibility of this, right? You wanted to make this skill visible to your family or you, just you, or you wanted to make it available, publicly available, and you wanted to monetize this, you have to you have to edit the permissions for it, right? So this might take a few minutes, right? So I will come back to it. So this is one of the ways you can make your own skills quickly, right? So in this, right, it's a no code, right? Absolutely no piece of code you have ever written for this, right? And then it is yours. You developed. I mean, you didn't even invest in learning a lot more. So you immediately become a skill owner for it, right? You become a skill owner, and then it is completely yours. Okay. So it is taking a little while because it takes a couple of minutes to establish all of these components on your Amazon server, Alexa server, right? So when that comes back, we'll come back again. Okay, so let's look at a complex way of doing it, right? The complex in the sense like a more customized way of doing things is the Alexa developer, going directly to the developer console. Okay, so how do you go to the developer console? Go to developer.amazon.com, click on it, right? If you're signing in for the first time, then it will ask you for a sign in, right? So I can basically sign into with my Amazon login information, right? I have AWS account. I linked it with the developer account, so I just use the same account for it. I don't want to have like multiple accounts sitting around for developer and then my AWS account, as well as like from my Prime account, right? All of that needs to be one account for me. It's good and bad. So if you wanted to like separate it out, right? If you are doing entrepreneurship, like if you are doing a contractual work, you don't want to mix your personal things with the business things, right? So you might want to separate it out. Okay, so when you go to the developer.amazon.com, what would you see is the four things, right? What you would see is like Alexa, and you would also see Amazon App Store. Remember that Amazon App Store has, App Store is Android-based apps that you can develop for Fire TV, Fire Tablet, and all the Fire-based mobile platforms that they have. Right. If you wanted to develop an app for that, then this is the thing for you. And also, Tej, if you don't mind disabling your annotation, I would greatly appreciate. Okay. If you have questions, then please hold up for like 5 more minutes, then we'll get there. But please remove this annotation. Thank you. Or also you have Amazon Dash replenishment, or like right, if you wanted to do recycling business with the Amazon, then there is a Dash for you, and then Developer Center. So we are not interested in any of these three, but we are interested in this one. I'm clicking on the Alexa, right? All right, so once you go to this and then you see different things, right? You can develop skill builders like Alexa skill builder platform. That's where you will be spending most of your time to learn, right? And then other thing is like if you're building Alexa for device makers, right? Like for OEMs, like if you're working for Samsung or like some Amazon, right? Or for iOS like Apple, right? And then your responsibility is to make Alexa work for those devices, right? Or if you are creating your own device, like for example, Vice Chancellor said like he wants his own he wants his own gadget which would do many other things, right? In that case, he might want you guys to do your own proprietary device which enables very specific services, right? He wants to sell this as a product and spin off another startup within the university as a part of the research program or part of the undergrad programs, right? So those programs, like basically go to this one, right? The device maker, right? You can come up with a custom device. That custom device can be really programmed with the Alexa service, right? That Alexa service would basically do a very specific purpose, right? More very specific to your proprietariness of it. So, and if you are working for a big enterprise like Verizon or any other enterprise, right? And they want Alexa integrated to their touch points of a customer, right? So like basically the chat sessions or like the customer service sessions, all of those touch points, right? They wanted to integrate Alexa, right? So Alexa service to it, right? So the voice activated service. So in that case, like you would go to this part of enterprise solutions, building enterprise solutions, go here to learn more about it. Okay. So what we are doing is like going to this skill builder, Alexa for skill builder. Okay. Okay, so once you go there, right? So you will see. Okay, why I am stuck? Is my okay? All right, sorry. Okay, so basically, you will see various things. You can develop games for Alexa, and you can do flash briefings as well as music and basic. You can develop Alexa for apps. Various other. I mean, it's Alexa is gigantic, right? It is an ecosystem of its own. So I mean, you can build your career and you can build complete business into Alexa itself, right? Just doing Alexa. Okay, so what I want you to focus on is the Alexa developer console. Hold on, show, okay, where is my skills? A skill kit, I'm sorry. All right, okay. Skill kit. All right. Okay, so all right, now I'm going to be able to go to my. All right, so let me go from here, this section of it. Alexa developer console. There you go. All right. So when you go to developer.amazon.com, Alexa console.esk, that's where the home for your developer services. If you wanted to create your own skill, right, you have to click here and then basically go define like what are the templates, some of the templates that you wanted to choose to create it, right? So remember that birthday countdown that we use the blueprint for, right? So it shows up here as well. Everything that you developed in a blueprint, you can see it here, and also you would see other things like there are things which are not blueprints, right, which are like custom developed by you, right? For me, like it is kind of a my fairy tale. Like for example, my fairy tale is one of the service. Oh no, that is not the one. I'm sorry. My fairy tale is the blueprint. Okay, so the cake time, right? So the cake time is a non-blueprint version of the Alexa skill, which means it is custom built by you as a developer, right? So that one is kind of basically once you go through the prompts, right? You will have an option to develop in Node.js versus Python. Once you chose all of those options, then you would get to this interface where you would see all the structure of the skill itself. So in this case, right, what you have is the cake time that I created, right? The cake time has the interaction model. So remember that the interaction model terminology that we talked about, interaction model is how you would structure your menu for your restaurant. In this case, it's a restaurant, and how the interaction with that skill is going to be is how you define it, how you structure is called the interaction model, right? Within the interaction model, you will have intents, right? Intents of like what user would interface with this interaction model would be like, okay, what kind of a pizza that they want to order, or what kind of a biryani that they want to order. All of that is individual intents, right? So those structures will be defined here, right? And then assets relating to it, right? And then everything relating to the model, you would define it. So once you go into doing all of that configuration, right? So you would see code like this, right? I'm just going over, skimming through the process so that you're familiar with the interface. I'm not going through the details of how would you create it right on this call, right? But if there is an interest, definitely we could have a follow-up call on this and then do a very specific skill development in Alexa. Okay, so once you go into the code, right? I mean the code. This is the code version of it, customization of it, right? So there are two things that you have to really you will have. Each and every intent will have a can handle or a handle, right? Can handle means the ability, whether this intent can handle what it can handle, right? So once it handles, how it would respond is the interaction is this, right? Once you say like I want to order biryani, right? A chicken biryani with the softer chicken, right? That's an intent that you wanted to make, right? So for that particular the intent, you would once that is invoked, right? How would you respond is also like you would specify it, Okay, so all of that customization can be made in the code when you are going in a very completely customized way, right? Once you build it and you can test it, right? You can really test it in the developer console itself, right? So I will just show a quick way of launching that interaction model, right? So I select the development here and then say open cake time, right? So this one is a cake time skill that I just launched, right? So the response, it should say,
welcome back.
Yeah.
It looks like there are 91 days until your 46th birthday.
So it comes up with that welcome message, right? So the welcome message that you define, right? So, okay, so this is it, right? You can basically build and then code and then test it. And then you can also distribute it. Once you are distributed, right? So you can basically specify all the things, that information that is needed to make it public, right? And then you certify it, like Amazon certifies it. And then basically you're good to go in making this service really available for the public, right? Once you deployed it, and then you will see the analytics of how it is performing. Okay, any issues you may have, like if some interactions are failing versus some interactions are having a lot more interactions, all of that analytics can be really seen here, right? The customers, utterances, intents, and everything, right? All the details can be seen, so that like you will understand how the skill is being performed. Okay, with that, I wanted to like open up for questions. Hand it over to Dr. Kamala.
Yeah, Thiru. Yeah, before you conclude, let us check if anyone are having any queries.
Yep.
I think from Sumati Rani to everyone. Not audible. Sumati, I think we can hear. You better check your audio system, Sumati.
Any questions? Open for any questions, guys.
Yes. If not from the audience, maybe I can go for a question, Thiru.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Sumati, you can unmute what Versus Madam is telling. Okay. Yeah, my question is like, if we go for our blueprints and customize ourselves, can we make it open to everyone?
Yes,
like,
you can. Yeah, this is yours and you can open it. You can monetize on it. Yes, absolutely.
Are these the same as the packages what we come across in R or Python?
Yeah,
open source.
Yeah, you could see it that way. Yes, absolutely.
So these relate to those packages where everyone can use and we can develop our own.
Yeah, absolutely. This is your own skill, right? You have the complete rights on it.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah. Thank you. Anyone else?
So, what did you guys? Anyone wants to speak about like what are the takeaways that you had? How would you like to pursue this one? Like a general opinion, right? What did you take away from it? This one. Anyone wants to say anything, right? Students. How about panel? How did panel perceive this one?
Yeah.
Was it helpful?
I can summarize what they have. What they can take away. I can summarize. I'm just waiting for anyone if they would like to summarize. I think Professor Verma, sir. He raises his hand. Professor Verma, sir. Suresh Verma, sir, are you there? I can see your hand raising.
He's muted.
Yeah. Just.
Yes, Madam, can I just now?
Yeah, sure. Both of you. I just now unmuted sir also.
Okay.
Madam,
yes.
Are you hearing my voice?
Yes, sir. I can hear yours.
Good evening, Mr. Ona. It is a very wonderful lecture.
Thank you.
But I have one doubt. Can I communicate with IoT device with Alexa?
Yes, of course. Yeah. You can
If
have
I'm
your own
collect-
IoT device. You can
Yeah.
have your own custom IoT device, and you can put the Alexa service on it.
Yeah. Once a few information coming in the form of voice from the Alexa, how to capture from my app?
How to capture? I mean, you have. I mean, is it two different problems? Like you have your own custom device, and you wanted to develop an app for it?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you wanted
using
to do
Alexa.
Yeah. So once you put the Alexa service, Alexa will take over the interaction with that device, right? So your app would have to interface with the Alexa to talk to that custom IoT device.
Okay. And another doubt, once I am using Alexa and as well as your blueprint, how these two are communicates?
Okay, can you repeat that again one more, Professor?
Yeah, your Alexa device and your AWS, how they are communicating, in which format?
Oh, okay. So the JSON, remember that Lambda interface that you have AWS hosted on? Lambda is hosted on AWS, right? Alexa is being a service, kind of uses the functionality of AWS, which is a Lambda, right? For all the skill interfaces. So if you see Alexa as a service hosted, the managed service hosted on a overall AWS, so the Alexa, Lambda is another hosted service, right? And the two hosted services are being interacting, right?
Yeah.
Does that answer?
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. Wonderful lecture.
Thank you.
Thiru, I just want. Madam, just one second. Professor Verma, he works on IoT devices. He's more interested, and
that's awesome.
Yeah, he developed some robot. It seems he developed something, and which he would like to install that for Polvaram project to check the water levels or something. As far as I know, am I correct, sir? Verma sir?
That is the one project. Another one, exactly, I want to simulate Alexa from my IoT device.
Oh,
okay. Professor,
I don't want to
go
use
to that Alexa service, and I shared that device makers, right? That interface. Go there for additional information, right? So for how you would.
I want to simulate exact Alexa using IoT device.
Perfect. Yes, that's absolutely possible. I mean, I could share that link again with you. But if you sign up into like Alexa. Basically go to the Alexa directly, alexa.amazon.com. The second link is the device makers.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, sir.
No problem. Thank you, sir. Persis Madam is the principal for Engineering College. Thiru, she would like to interact with you.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Thiru, for an interesting presentation. So my questions are, I have three questions. Number one is it Alexa, is it rule-based or machine learning based? From your blueprint or from your development console, from your slides, I can understand that it is all rule-based. Where exactly that machine learning component fits into? And my second question is, if it is machine learning based, as Vice Chancellor Sir has said, it can be for, let me say, it is now for N languages. I want to extend it for N+1 language, right?
Yes.
So again, I have to develop it from scratch for the next language, or because there is an ML model, so I can use that model and feed the data. And my third question is, this is a separate thing. These days, because we are all locked down at homes, we are exploring all the digital tools, especially in the field of education. How these voice assistants are they really going to revolutionize the next generation, especially school education? Please throw a light on this.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for that wonderful question, ma'am. Going to your first question of like whether it is rule-based or the model-based, right? So it is actually simplified to make it as a rule-based, but that doesn't limit you in customizing your skill to use the knowledge from your ML model. right? So even though it is structured to simplify it to like make it as a rule based, but your skill can has the capability to be more knowledgeable through your model itself, right? So you can interact, you can interface your skill itself to your model, right? If you see the skill itself is an API, the API can interface with your own service for response.
Okay. In the development console, you didn't show that
Yes.
part. That is the reason
I didn't show that. I mean, it's very complex, right? I mean, they tried to simplify it in at various levels, right? They tried to simplify it from first with a blueprint with a no code, and then try to make it a little more complex with the developer console, right? With the intents and everything, like how you can do simplify. Because if you make it complex, right, the adoption is going to be killed immediately, right? So they tried to make it so simple for the adoption to go up, right? Even people find it so complex currently. Even the developer console at the level that it is shown, the people find it so complex. So that's why they came up with the blueprints, right? But the ability to interface with your own S3, your own DynamoDB, or your own services is completely possible with that developer console. And you can interface with that. Does that help, man?
Yes, I got it. So my next question is if it is, so can I say that it is both rule-based and machine learning based together?
Yes.
Okay.
It's basically, it's a combination of it, right? I mean, even though it looks rule-based, but you can make it very, interact with your own model within that service itself.
Okay, got it. It is clear. So my second point is, as I told you, if I have it for some n programming languages, for the next programming language, I need to develop it from scratch because I have an ML model, I can use the same, feed it.
Yes, absolutely. And then the third question that you asked about the educational service, right? I mean, it revolutionizes, right? I mean, the opportunities are unlimited. Yeah, because the whole interaction, right, with the devices is pretty much through voice, right? There is no other way of interfacing with the machines, right? There is no other better way of interfacing with the machines than like voice, right? Touch I have experienced, and it is like so dependent on you for you to wake up and then basically do something on a particular device, right? And that interaction of interface touch requires you physically touching some devices, right? There is no other interface than like voice to give the comfort, right? So voice is the revolutionary way of doing it. So that's why you see the Alexa expanding unlimitedly, exponentially, right? Because that's the way to interface, right? The dictations, everything that we do is like through the voice itself, right?
Any cost-effective solution for rural India?
It is very cost effective, right? I mean, Professor Verma was developing the IoT device, right? It doesn't have to connect. I mean, some of the things it can serve within the device itself. It doesn't have to go to the network. You can put the knowledge within the device itself, right? You don't have to hit the server all the time. So those kind of things, those IoT devices, you can build the knowledge within the device itself.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks for your time and for your good impressions. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Thiru. We have made the participants to unmute themselves for any questions to ask. Jagdish, are you there? I can see 2 questions of yours on the chat box. Make yourselves unmute. You can directly ask. Yes. Thiru Jagdish is my scholar. He's working on NLP. He's trying to make text to speech. He has some questions. Yeah.
So he could use Lex and Poly, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
New ideas to generate. Yes. Jagdish, go ahead.
Yes, sir. The question is the robotic process automation is been revolutionary today. So whether we can integrate this Alexa with the robotic process automation, are any applications which were already available?
Oh, okay. That's a very smart thought, Jagdish. So actually, you're wanting to like you have the robotic auto RPA models like that you built, right? Services that you built to automate some of the things. How you wanted to integrate Alexa to it? Absolutely possible, right? But I mean, from a like a thought of it itself, like it's possible, right? So I mean, you are talking to one service from a this different service. I mean, at a conceptually, I could think that it is possible, but I myself has not explored that integration. It is just two software components wanted to interface. Absolutely possible, but there's something that we would have to research further. But that's an awesome thought, Jagdish.
Thank you, sir. And one more question is, I have been wondering what were the NLP techniques which were used in Alexa for conversion of text to speech and speech to text. I mean, the
Okay.
sort of algorithm.
So the algorithms NLP is using the text parsing for the text parsing, you mean?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. For the text parsing from text to speech as well as to speech, from speech to text.
I don't know I mean, the technicality behind how it's doing it, right? I mean, if there is a technical term to do, I mean, technical model that it would use to do the conversion. But at a high level, I know that it is doing NLP is taking that waveform and then basically converting it to text, and then Polly takes that text and converts it back to the audio. So that part I know, but I don't know the internal technical details of how it was done.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, thanks for the question, Jagdish.
Yeah, Jagdish, you have to dig it out for the more technical concept.
Yeah,
the sooner you will be awarded degree. Yeah, Thiru, one more question from an interesting participant. Pravachan Chaladanki Prajwal also. Yeah, Prajwal Chaladanki, whom you know as Bitu, he has some question. Prajwal, can you ask your own question?
Hi, Uncle. How are you? How are you, Uncle?
Good.
Yes, ask your question, Prajwal.
Yeah, my doubt is, does other voice assistants like Google and Siri use applications like Lambda or you, as you said, other applications and Blue, those are?
Yeah, so I mean, when we are doing the cross-platform integrations, I mean, the possibility, I mean, it is possible to integrate Alexa to any other clouds per se, right? Other services per se as well. Just that somebody is asking for control of camera. Why? Somebody wants to control my camera?
Srinivas sir, are you there? Please check on.
So I don't know what that is, but Hina is, I think, clicked on some button, I guess. Okay, anyway. Prajwal, so the integration is possible, right? Definitely possible. Yeah, from the technicality of aspect of it. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Pravachan?
Good evening, sir. This is Pravachan.
Hi, Pravachan.
Hello, sir. So,
hello.
Right now I'm working to build some tests for Google Assistant, and so I'm using the platform VoiceFlow. So I want to know how much useful would the Lambda be to create Amazon skill sets, and what kind of language, programming language is advisable.
But I mean, the Google VoiceFlow is pretty specific to Google, right? So I mean, we would be limited to what Google is providing as a platform for us to develop.
It's not basically a Google's platform. It is the platform's name is VoiceFlow. So I'm using it to create actions for Google Assistant. But just to explore, I'm also looking through the Lambda to create skill sets for Amazon. So,
so you are doing both of them. You are experimenting with both.
Right now, I'm specifically concentrating on the Google Actions.
Okay.
So I want to explore and know more about Lambda and the skill sets of Amazon.
Yeah, so absolutely. I mean, Google and Amazon like way ahead on this thing, right? So I mean, it's very hard to say like which one is better, right? So yeah, I mean, exploring one-to-one, like, I mean, if you find Google like a little complicated, probably you can try experimenting with Amazon Alexa, right? See, I mean, which one is like gives you the biggest bang for buck.
Okay. And what language, what programming language would be more useful in Lambda?
So, I mean, basically the Node.js, right? So the Node.js is the ideal platform for you, right? It gives a lot more integrations with the other Node.js interactions. So like if you have to develop it in a Python, right? So it is a challenge of finding a appropriate Python service available for you to integrate, but the Node.js would be ideal in my opinion.
Right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Prachin. Yeah, I see one more question from Yashpal. Yashpal, are you there? You can unmute yourself, Yashpal. Yeah, question from Yashpal. How can we test our new no-code program with Alexa safely? It's a kind of security question he's asking.
Oh, I mean, Blueprint is like a very well secured platform, right? So only security that I would watch out is like anything under 13 years old, there is a parental consent is required, right? So, I mean, there is extra extra level of security that they put in for kids to access certain these services, right? You don't want to open up all the skills for every age group, right? So you would have to watch on that, and it is built in. It is built in into the service itself. Hope that answers your question.
Yeah, I think the same similar question, but still, if Pramila, if you have still beyond that, and I see the same question, you can interact. Either Pramila or M. Khan, the same security question you are asking.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Like, you know, my main question is, in today's hacking world, how secure is Alexa?
That is what the question just now answered.
So the hacking from a hacking for perspective, right? So the Amazon, the AWS is pretty secure from that point of view, right? I mean, we haven't had like DDoS attacks, that much of individual services being attacked, right? So, I mean, the DDoS attacks has not been that really, that frequent on this platform, right? I mean, so does Google. So Alexa service, in order for your service to be secure, you have to put the security mechanisms for your your service to be a little more secure, right? I mean, if it is anything under 13 that you wanted to limit access to, or you wanted to limit access to certain regions or certain populations, right? You would have to manage that from your service perspective. Does that answer your question, right? From configuring your service to be available to only certain audience, that is the configuration you would have to do for that scale.
I mean, exactly not like that, sir. For example, if you have taken an example like order a pizza, okay? So in the same manner, instead of me, some other person can order in the same way. So how secure in that way? That was my question actually.
Oh, okay. So I mean, from the devices that you are signing up as a user, right? And if that devices are like widely available or accessible to other people, right? I mean, that's the thing that you have to really limit on, right? So for example, you have to secure your devices. For example, your phone, right? Would you have your thumbprint or your retina scan available for others to place an account? I mean, others to place from your device. Those things you have to make sure, right? I mean, I think if you are a friend, like if you have a lot of friends, you have the tendency to give access to your device. Give access to those friends on your device, right? Normally they have this fingerprints of your friends on your device so that they can access it. It is a good gesture of showing a friendship. But most of the attacks happen from known people, right? So most of the attacks actually happen from the known people, right? In your circle only those attacks happen. So it may be intentional, it may not be intentional, it might be accidental. Sometimes are most cases, like, I mean, about like 80% of the cases are intentional to cause trouble to you, right? So make sure that you secure your devices so that you only have access to it, right? Or certainly very trusted people have access to it. So, I mean, if you are securing it that way, and it is pretty much can stay secured. I mean, does this answer your question, Pramila?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, Thiru Pramila is also one of my scholars.
Oh, okay.
Okay, we can go for one last question. I see here. Oh, I get two more questions. Yeah,
No
Sumati, you can unmute, you can ask. Sumati is also my scholar, and I see Lakshmi Narayana, next is yours. After Sumati, you can ask. Sumati, go ahead.
Hello, sir. Good evening.
Good evening.
Sir, I mean, like, in our college, we have made our own drone. I mean, it's an IoT device. Can I use Alexa to control that particular device, whatever we have?
Absolutely. If you want your drone to be launched through a voice command, absolutely, you could do that.
Even the robot also.
Yeah, I mean, any device, any IoT device, you as long as you are incorporating Alexa service part of it, right? Part of that IoT device, any device can interact with it.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for the valuable information. Really, I enjoyed your lectures, sir. Thank you.
Okay, Sumati. Lakshmi Narayan, are you there? You can unmute yourself. I see two hands raising.
So how do I use Alexa API in Python, right? So, I mean, Python is one of the default language that it is supported in Alexa for you to use, right? So Node.js and Python are the two default languages that you can be used. So,
okay, Lakshmi Narayan, yeah, your question is answered. And Saitej. Oh, Saitej.
Good evening, sir.
Hi, Saitej.
So good to have you here. I don't know much technical about it, but there seems to be a lot of people who are already doing projects here. But my question is, you said Alexa can be integrated into any device, right? That means it can not only be integrated into Amazon's own Alexa products, but also other Alexa products like Me, Xiaomi, etc.
Yeah.
Also, you said they can do this command processing within the device, right?
What was the last part of it, Saitej? I mean, I didn't get it.
You also said these commands can be processed within the device, right? So,
yeah. Yes. Oh, yeah.
Yes,
without any network. Yes. Yeah. Without any network.
It can be done offline without any network. So, as of I know, the other devices like Apple, Siri, Google's Assistant, etc., are done. They did this offline processing with some proprietary hardware like an NPU, like a neural processing unit.
Yeah.
So for other devices like third parties to do this Alexa commands offline, do they really require any kind of proprietary hardware in their devices, or Alexa does some magic with the software to do that?
So, I mean, all the services Alexa runs is on the application processor, right? It's not I mean, as far as I know, they don't have a very specific processor or a hardware, right? AI processor that would have to be embedded part of the hardware. But you can check that device makers platform for really more details, or touching base with the Alexa service technical point of contact itself.
Okay, so thank you.
So, I mean, in an application processor, all you need is a piece of software to run in the API, right? So
Yes, sir.
more, but there, as you load more into it, probably it might slow down the response. But if you wanted to have like your own AI model would be running on the same device, that might require a like separate GPU or a separate AI processor, right? That can offload some of the heavy intense processing, right? Other than that, I don't see a need for like a separate processor would be needed, but I think you can check more with the device makers option in the Alexa service. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay, Thiru.
That's a great question.
Yeah, he's CS and IT good student. Harini, I can see your hand raised, and
Yes,
you can, yeah, you can shoot your question.
Good evening, Thiru sir.
Hi, Harini.
Harini is
Hi, sir.
one of our faculty members.
I'm working as an assistant professor in Nandaya University, sir.
Hello, ma'am.
Sir, I have two questions. First thing is, does Alexa remember my commands, or does it has any log of my previous commands?
Yes.
If yes, what is the security that is provided?
So the log is,
only,
I mean, it can be disabled if you wanted to, but it is available for your own convenience.
Okay, sir. And my second question is, does it accept multiple commands at the same time or just one command at a time?
Yeah, it only takes one command.
What is the load? Okay, and what is the load that it takes for each command? What is the kind of load on the system for each command?
So actually, most of the load is actually comes from your data throughput of your connection, right? So if you have a really high 1 gig line going on, right, with your ISP, then it would be really quick, right? So the latency is not that much, right? But also sometimes AWS could be the Amazon service could be having a service issues, right? If it is offline for some reason, then you may not, you would.
Is it like the Amazon will maintain an account for each user? Whoever is using Alexa, does it has a separate account maintained?
Yes,
Nothing
it is.
like that.
It is maintained.
Okay.
All the, I mean, whoever connected to Alexa Echo, right? Echo, that's the account it would use. So the Echo would not know who is speaking, right? Either you speaking versus I speaking to the device, it wouldn't know. But whatever the configured account that you set for that Echo, that's the one you will see in the logs.
Okay. And I have asked only for the sake of utility purpose.
Okay.
So it will be more advantage to me if it can remember my previous commands. No, that's nice.
Oh yeah,
Thank
absolutely.
You, sir.
It remembers everything. It remembers pretty much everything. Yes.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
No problem.
Okay, Harini, thank you for your question. And before we move on to the vote of thanks, Thiru, just personally, I would like to summarize the contents, what you have covered. Today, you have started with basically with your very, very crystal clear voice, which is very clear and which is very commendable. You just started with the basics of what is Alexa and its applications, and then its working principles. And you have shown the building interaction model, what are the components it has. It has technical words. You covered what is an intent, invoke, slots, invocation name, and the NLU keywords. Later, a broad idea on Lambda you have given, and you have showed a demo on blueprints, and also you have touched the developer console and the skill development future. You have given an option for us whether we go in the future for that or not. Maybe I'll check with our students. And more than these, all you have answered all our technical questions from all of us. And personally, from my personal point of view, I thank you very much for coming on this platform to witness our university, MSN campus, and the Tech Vibes Club. And now I request Amulya from MCA, first MCA MSN campus, to propose vote of thanks. Thank you from Thiru, from the bottom of my heart. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Amulya, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
You are Thiru, you want to say something? You are about to tell. Thiru?
Yeah, no. I was
Okay.
waiting for Amulya.
Yeah,
I'm
sure.
sorry.
Amulya, proceed. Yes.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. Good evening, all. I'm Amulya, student of Computer Science Department, Adikavi Nanne University, MSN Campus, Kakinada. I take the opportunity to propose vote of thanks of this webinar on machine learning, the skills of Alexa. First of all, we, the Tech Vibes Team Club of Computer Science Department of MSN Campus, sincerely thank our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor M. Jagannath Rao sir, for his continuous motivation, encouragement to mold all the colleges in academics activities and research environment other than teaching. Thank you for sparing your time, sir. And a special thanks to our registrar, Professor T. Ashok sir, for his support. I would like to take the privilege of giving thanks to the honorable guest, Mr. Thirumal Rao Una sir, for accepting our invitation and being as facilitator on the webinar on the skills of Alexa. Sir, from the Tech Vibes Club, we all thank you for your technical speaking sound presentation, sir.
Thank you.
I'm confident that along with me and all of my friends leave this session with a complete understanding of Alexa skills set, Amazon Echo, the working principles, demo on making our Alexa skills own, which you have taught. Thanks for sharing your knowledge as well as your valuable time, sir. I would like to thank our respected Special Officer Ma'am, Dr. Kamal Kumari Madam, who had been instrumental in making this event materialized. I do thank Professor Suresh Verma sir, Senior Professor from UCE, Principal Dr. V. Persis Madam, UCS and T Principal Dr. K. Ramaneshwari Madam, HOD of Computer Science Department, Dr. P. Venkateshwar Rao sir, HOD of Computer Science Department, BVA Swami sir, and the faculty of Computer Science Department, and all the faculty members, students from UCE, Rajahmundry and MSN Campus, Kakinada, students from JN2K and other colleges for your presence and utilizing this program. Thank you one and all, and thank you for making us a part in this. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Amulya, thank you. All the participants, those who would like to have the certificate, you can just type your name in the chat box. We will issue the certificates in 2 days. And through 2 messages for you personally, even to my mobile also. Dr. Uday Bhaskar, who is the Dean Student Affairs, he says nice and informative session. And Dr. B. Jagan Mohan Reddy, who is also our EC member, he appreciates your lecture and your session. Both of them convey their wishes to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Thank
so
you.
Thanks for honoring me and inviting to this first session. I mean, I'm totally blown away and honored about this.
Even we are pleased. We are pleasure to have you on this platform, and we all had your informative session, and hopefully all the students are confident now, at least the technical terms around the Alexa. We do have, I do see some question on Jenne Hanumantu sir. You can type and we can post that question to Thiru. He will answer you later. And I see so many number of they're giving their names. Yes. Thank you, Thiru. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Sure. Thank you. Yeah. Bye.
Bye.